Hello people, I'm Ginnymetheral and I'm a 4th generation witch. Today's video is part of my Wheel of the Year series and we're looking at Mabon for 2022. How to celebrate, how to enjoy the traditions, the folklore and a little bit of magic. Before I start anything, I just need to ask you to remember to subscribe because otherwise I won't be able to carry on with this channel. However, please subscribe. Now let's get on with it. What is Mabon? This is the burning question we're all looking at. Mabon is the name for the autumn equinox and its celebration. Mabon himself was a Welsh mythological person who was hanged around King Arthur's court and all that jazz. I'm not going to go into an explanation of who Mabon is here because Mabon, the name, is just used and was cornered by the Gardnerian Wiccans in the 1970s to apply to the autumn equinox. The autumn equinox is when we have equal night and equal day, and the earth is in balance. This is one of the Wiccan Wheel of the Year festivals, and all Wiccan festivals are all about celebration. So this is your day to party. Some of the festivals obviously have more significance and are bigger than the others, such as Samhain, which is Halloween, and May Day or Beltane. And the rest of them sort of fall in and around what's going on. But this is one of the 8 Wheel of the Year festivals, and we call it Mabon. Simply, it is a time for celebration. There are 2 harvest festivals in the Wiccan calendar, that of Lammas, which is that of the grain and the bread and the wheat harvest. However, this festival, Mabon, celebrates the berry and the fruit harvest as well as the equinox. There's 2 aspects to the Mabon celebrations, that of giving thanks for the berries and the fruit and their harvesting in, and the autumn equinox and the balance that it brings. This year, Mabon falls on the 23rd of September, and we have exactly equal day and equal night. This balance is also shown in the masculine and the feminine energy of the world, which is also in balance. Likewise, this is the turning point for the plants and the trees. Instead of the sap rising, this is the point where the sap now returns down into their roots to hold out for the darker months. Nothing is holding sway over the other, neither the masculine, nor the feminine, nor the day, nor the night, the light, the dark. We're all equal. Now this is a great time for witchcraft because there's no energies pulling you one way or the other, so you can tip the balance into your favour by putting in your own choice of energy into your spells. For example, fertility spells work especially good on the equinox, and if you haven't seen my fertility spell, I'll put it up here for you because now is the time to plan and use this spell to help you have a child in your life. Be interesting, that one. It doesn't necessarily mean that you'll get pregnant, but it does mean that children will come. One of the great symbols of Mabon, in this country at least because we have them, is acorns. Acorns are the fruit of the oak tree, which is one of the 7 sacred trees to the Druids. Acorns are signs of prosperity, abundance, fertility, wealth. So it's a great time of year to use the acorn in your spells. They can be used in fertility spells. Beware. It is known that equinoctial conceived children, they have a very, very strong sense of balance, i.e. right and wrong, because there's no grey areas for them. They were conceived at a time when everything was very, very equal. Mabon is a time to look at what you have reaped from the sowing that you made earlier in the year. And this is not just for looking at your fruits and your vegetables. You can also look at yourself, and I think it's a really good time to do some examination of the soul. September's moon, the Anglo-Saxons often called it not just the harvest moon, they called it the song moon, because of course September is all about singing and dancing, and this is what happens on Mabon. Mabon has many traditions associated with the harvest home and home suppers or harvest festivals, and so this is a time for feasting. Mabon previously used to be celebrated by getting dressed in your wonderful finery of clothes, putting out your best dinner service on the table and producing a fine feast for you, your friends, your family and your community. Mabon is a time of gathering together, feasting, singing, dancing, hence why we call September's moon the song moon. Mabon is almost like the last party before Yule, and this can be sort of followed down through the traditional lore of ancient England, where you can see the Victorians, they really took to the harvest home and decorated their churches magnificently. Wiccans and witches would do something slightly different. Obviously, this is a witch's sabbat, and so this is a time for gathering together. Witches would gather together in their covens and create the spells for the next 6 months of their time that would use the darkness, meaning that they cast spells that would use the darkness to grow to fruition until you hit the time of Yule, such as spells for getting rid of issues, you can bury them with the dark, push it into your favour, and also spells which are started in the dark, such as fertility spells, where they need that space to grow in order to come out into the light at the end. Pagans are still gathering at Stonehenge to watch the sun rise over those iconic stones at this time, and you might not be sitting next to Stonehenge. A bit like me, I'm not anywhere near Stonehenge. It's several hours drive away from me and takes forever to get to, and I don't like crowds. However, you might want to go to a stone circle. It's at this time that you would dress the stone circle with offerings. Equinox is a pause. It is a retrospective. We are looking at what we have reaped from what we have sown. So as we are in balance, one of the greatest symbols for Mabon is the cornucopia. It's a horn of plenty, for those who don't know what a cornucopia is. It shows both male, phallic and female welcoming energies. So we have the female womb-like structure of it and the male phallic structure of it. It is overflowing with the fruits of the season. This cornucopia is a long-held tradition and actually dates back to almost the very beginning of human civilization. There are so many god dollies, they're called, which show both male and female characteristics. It's probably got something to do with fertility. Well, obviously it's got something to do with fertility because it shows both male and female characteristics. This, however, is the forerunner of the cornucopia. The equinox is also known traditionally as a time for the fairies. Not that they're particularly active at this time, but they are returning to their winter quarters. And so it's more of a time for you to interact with the fae. I have a lot of fae in my house because, I invited them in and I live in an incredibly magical place in the middle of a wood and it's beautiful and, in the middle of nowhere, so the fae love it. And so it's a really good idea that if you want to entice fairies into your house or have fairies coming back into your house for their winter quarters, to welcome them with offerings. It was considered always to give them the very finest specimens of each flower and vegetable that you picked, and you could make an altar. This, in fact, is a great thing to do on Mabon in general, is have an altar. Of course, altars should always have, at this time of year, some bread on them. Bread is the mainstay food of any culture. The other great things to use on this altar are frankincense, myrrh and gold. All of these are governed at the equinox, and the equinox has great familiarity with them. This triptych of wonder is great to put on your altar. You could burn the frankincense and the myrrh, both of which are resins, and then pass your gold through them. Myrrh helps with meditation and healing. Frankincense helps clear and calm the mind. It's always used in purification rituals and exorcisms. But I also like to add bread and acorns because these are also part of the season. The gold is just a signifier of abundance and prosperity for your altar. Frankincense has a male energy and myrrh has a female energy, so both of them complement each other greatly. My Mabon is going to mainly be about celebrating with my friends and family. I'm going to bake some cakes, have a party and enjoy my time with my family before the dark months turn in. I got married around the equinox and it is a time of celebration and joy for me personally. And so with this, I would like you to go out and have a party too. Let me know in the comments what you're going to do for your Mabon party, whether you have any Wheel of the Year traditions that I need to know about. I love reading your comments, so do let me know down below. My cover meeting is coming up next month. Go to patreon.com/Ginnymetheral for details. Come and join us. This month I think we're going to do aura bubbles, so that'll be fun. Otherwise, please don't forget to like and subscribe because it really helps my channel and enables me to carry on doing these videos. And I will see you in a few days.